government find out?
Minister.
I thank the honourable lady. I think it's a shame that she only referred to one sort of child abuse victim when the statement is clearly about all child abuse victims, of which there should be no hierarchy of who is. We are talking about also children raped by their fathers, raped in other circumstances, in children's homes and institutions for many, many years. And I think it is a shame that she didn't speak about any of their experiences, notwithstanding the very graphic and upsetting stories that she did tell. Obviously, I have worked for many years with those exact girls, and actually much of what the Honourable Lady already knows is because of inquiries that have already occurred, such as in Rotherham, such as in Rochdale, such as the 2-year inquiry as part of the ICSA panel, which she didn't refer to at all, which clearly looked into lots of areas and was a statutory inquiry. I wonder if she maybe wants to readdress herself with the 200 pages of that report. I understand the sense of anger and urgency over the issue from the Honourable Lady. None of this is her fault. She wasn't there at the time, but she works with the shadow ministers who sat in offices where I now sit, who did not lift a single finger when it came to the J inquiry on any of the recommendations it contained. Take the Shadow Home Secretary, who spent almost 2 years, he spent as the Minister for Policing and Crime. He had 352 external meetings he held during his time in that role. 352 external meetings, including 23 separate meetings on policing of protest. Not once did he hold a discussion on grooming gangs or what the police were doing to investigate them. Not one meeting with the police or with victims or with local authorities or with Alexis J, who had some choice words to say about some of the special advisors. I don't know if she knows who that was in the department when she was trying to get her requirements across the line. What I will say is that the government has today published an action plan with all of the details, a plan for the future that is systematic, that is not about headlines, it is about the front line. It is about how these things are going to take time in lots and lots of areas of our country, that this doesn't happen overnight because somebody wins a political argument. It's going to take work, and I very much welcome her joining me, unlike for the years I was doing it when the current Shadow Home Secretary never bothered.
Jess Phillips continues to prove time and time again that she is not only unfit for public office, but a disgrace to the very concept of moral leadership. In a moment that should have called for humility, truth, and justice for all victims of abuse, she instead chose to single out one group, as if the countless young girls brutalized by Pakistani rape gangs weren't worth mentioning. This is not an oversight. This is not a slip of the tongue. This is a deliberate, cold, and calculated act of political cowardice. For years, Jess Phillips has positioned herself as a champion of women's rights, a warrior for the voiceless. But when the voices crying out belong to working-class white girls, raped and trafficked in cities like Rotherham and Telford, she conveniently loses her voice. Suddenly, the firebrand Mamp becomes meek, reserved, or worse, complicit. She speaks with tears for those that suit her political narrative, and with silence for those that don't. It's not just shameful, it's sickening. To minimize or ignore the monstrous crimes of these grooming gangs, to treat them as a footnote in a broader discussion, is to spit in the face of every family that has been shattered by their evil. And let's be clear, Jess Phillips wasn't merely silent. She actively downplayed the issue, refused to engage with the depth of the problem, and smeared those who dared bring it to light. She's not a feminist. She's a fraud. She's not a protector of victims. She's a protector of narratives, even if that means letting predators walk free and victims rot in silence. Jess Phillips is, without exaggeration, one of the most morally bankrupt politicians to ever enter Parliament. Her legacy will not be one of justice, integrity, or truth. It will be one of deceit, betrayal, and disgrace. And history won't forget.
The government promised as an election in the manifesto to lower the voting age to 16, but that's for, of course, for UK Parliament elections and local elections in England and Northern Ireland. Of course, in Scotland it's there already. The commitment wasn't included in the King's speech, so they want to know, Prime Minister, when might they see legislation coming forward on this issue?
We will definitely get it done. It's a manifesto commitment and we intend to honour it. I think that if you're old enough to go out to work, if you're old enough to pay your taxes, then you are entitled to have a say on how your taxes are spent. And also we do have voting at a younger age in different parts of the United Kingdom, and the sky didn't fall in. It's a commitment we made, it's a commitment we intend to keep.
Okay, so you're trusting 16-year-olds with that?
Keir Starmer, the man who could look directly into the camera, promise integrity and reform, and somehow still come across like a malfunctioning AA program to say absolutely nothing of substance, has once again proven that his vision for Britain is as shallow as his charisma. Now he's peddling the idea of lowering the voting age to 16, wrapping it in that tired old slogan, "If you're old enough to pay taxes, you're entitled to a say on how your taxes are spent." Sounds noble, doesn't it? Except it's a hollow platitude masking a cynical political calculation. This isn't about empowering youth. It's about securing a desperate grip on future Labour votes by recruiting barely pubescent teenagers who still need parental permission to go on school trips. Starmer's Britain is one where actual adults can't afford a house, can't get a dentist, and can't speak freely without fear of cancellation. But don't worry, a 16-year-old who still believes in Hogwarts houses gets to help decide the fate of the nation. Genius. This is the same man who flip-flopped his way through Brexit, women's rights, and even basic biology. And now he wants to pretend he's the voice of reason on democratic reform. Please, let's be honest. This move reeks of political opportunism. Starmer doesn't see a vibrant new voting bloc of enlightened teens eager to shape society. He sees TikTok, addled minds he hopes are naive enough to buy his lifeless brand of politics. Because let's face it, anyone over the age of 25 with a functioning memory knows that Starmer stands for absolutely nothing. He's a man who bends in the wind, a weather vane in a cheap suit, held aloft only by media protection and the fact that the Tories have set the bar so low a hamster could clear it. And the irony? The man who says 16-year-olds are wise enough to vote is the same one who couldn't answer what a woman is without checking his party's polling first. If this is what passes for leadership, we might as well let toddlers vote too. At least they're honest when they want biscuits. Starmer's push to lower the voting age isn't progressive. It's pathetic. It's not about youth empowerment. It's about Labour desperation. And the British public deserves better than this bland, beige bureaucrat who confuses political cowardice with compassion.